Hello everyone. So I'm gonna go over some of the mistakes that I made as a beginner breeder. These are not the major ones. The major no-nos you guys probably already know, like don't get the ability cards wrong, or keeping gene purity at the highest. I just want to go over some smaller mistakes that I made that ended up making me lose money. But again, guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own research. This is what I would do if I had to do over. So the first mistake I made was I knew I had to keep the gene purity high, but I didn't account for the recessive 1 and recessive 2 genes. I didn't account for the different abilities in the recessive 1 and recessive 2. I just looked up the gene quality, gene purity, and anything I saw over 95%, I was like, this should do. Let's take this Axie for example. Let's say this plant tank. It looks very good on paper, right? Like 97% gene quality. And the first abilities, they're all correct. Serious, cactus, hotbutt, pumpkin, very popular tank. But what I didn't look at was the recessive 1. Like for this one, it has cactus, pumpkin, hotbutt, they're all correct. But except serious, there's silence whisper. And I don't think anyone uses silence whisper. That's a pretty bad card to get. So let me just put this guy into the breeding simulator with another Axie, which has a recessive 1 of a bad card, but still plant. So let's toggle the odds here. You can see the odds. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm using Axie Zone breeding simulator. This is super helpful. So here, guys, recessive 2 can basically give like almost a 10% chance of it coming out as the dominant gene. So yeah, silence whisper. And the other guy has a recessive 1 of herbivore. That's also a fairly, I mean, it's usable card, but it's bad if you wanna make breeding your like hobby. So you want those recessive 2 and 1, like the percentage as low as possible, so that the outcome is way better for you, right? So if we breed them up, see, one of them ends up with silence whisper, and that's so this guy's price will be much lower than the ones that had good outcomes for the dominant genes. So ideally what you want is for all of them to have the same cards, such as let's say this guy, his dominant is pumpkin, recessive 1 is pumpkin, all pumpkin, serious. The only bad one is the tail here, with only 1 hot butt. So you want all 3, dominant, recessive 1 and recessive 2, all the same. But if you really must, recessive, like if it's recessive 2 that has the bad card, I guess it's okay. Pumpkin, and recessive 2. Recessive 2 only has about 3% chance of coming out, right? So you want those bad cards to have the lowest percentage of coming out, but it's most ideal if everything is the same. But something like some Axies with all these really good recessive 1 and 2, they're really expensive. So if you must, just have the bad card in the recessive 2, and the chances of you getting that bad card should be like 3%. Just make it as low as you can. But of course, recessive genes can still mutate. It has here, it shows 10% chance to mutate. So for this guy, like his pumpkin mutated into sandal. So these mutations you can't really control. So try to have control of the best parts that you can control, so that the outcome is much better, because I kept ignoring the recessive 1 genes, and then all my cards came out pretty bad, all my Axies. I mean, this is probably something obvious, but the first time I was breeding, I didn't pay attention to the recessive 1 too much. So another small mistake that I didn't really pay attention to was the stats of an Axie. For like plants and all, it's pretty straightforward. If your gene quality is high, like you're gonna get the same stats. 61 health, 31 speed, that's ideal. 31 skill, and 41 morale, right? But for something like a reptile terminator, there's a speed difference that actually matters. Because for an Axie with like different skill combination and Axie parts, like the Axie terminators, they have 3 bug parts and 1 reptile part. So they all have different stats because their gene quality is all different. So this is a little less obvious. So I would just breed them without even looking at the stats, even if I did look at the recessive 1 and 2 properly. Because for termies, speed does matter, right? A Terminator, they can be faster than a pure beast. I think their max speed is what? 41? 42. Yeah, 42. Termi max speed is 42. And a pure beast, their max speed is 41, so you can outspeed a beast. But see, the Terminators with 42 speed, let's go to 0 breeds. Okay, not much difference, but here the prices are 0.117, whereas if you just go to like the floor speed, it drops all the way to 0.09. That's a difference of 0.02. So yeah, for a Terminator like this, you will have to look for with its max speed. So it gets its max speed from the eyes and the ears. It's usually an aqua or a bird part that makes it faster than the other Terminators, right? The other floor Terminators, they have other parts like plant eyes, reptile ears, which makes them slower. And the expensive ones, the pricier ones, they have different eyes and ears. So you also want recessive 1 and 2 to have those genes. For example, like this guy has very good ear and eye genes, all aqua parts. So you want to look for something like that. So yeah, you really want to consider stats also before breeding. Speed is mostly the most important one I've seen. That's the stat that everyone looks at, and it's very important when in PvP. You want to outspeed the other Axie as much as possible, right? And the last but small but fairly big mistake I made was not really looking at the market. I was pretty impatient. I just wanted to start breeding, so eager, excited. So I got here at the peak of the Axie hype. Yeah, mid-July, I believe. Yeah, 15th July, where all the Axie prices were just like peaking. They were at their max. But since then, the past couple of weeks, Axie prices just have been slowly dropping. So I bred my Axies at the top here, at the top prices, and I had to sell them way lower at maybe like 30-40% loss because I didn't wait and just look at what the market was doing. So one thing you can look at is at Axie World, the volume. You can kind of tell if there's more volume, there's more demand for Axies, right? So more buying of Axies, which means higher prices. And if it's going down, demand is going down, and a lot of people are breeding. You can also look at the breeding. Yep, breeding fees just keeps going up. A lot of people breeding. So a lot of people breeding, which means a lot more Axies in the market, which means the Axie prices will go down with less demand. But currently it's getting a bit more stable now compared to last month. So what I like to do now is just check the volume, how the market is doing. And another thing I like to do is kind of check the prices of popular builds. For example, the plants like I showed you before, the pumpkin, serious cactus. A lot of people use them, hot bud. So every day I just refresh this page, just check the prices, how they're doing, if they've gone down. And I know these are popular. You can check if a build is popular by just taking their ID, go to Axie Tech, and go to Axie Pricing, calculate, and you can see here. And you can see here, there's a lot of this breed, right? Cause it's popular, everyone breeds them. But you can see a lot of them have been sold in just yesterday. Compared to, let's say, an Axie that's not very popular, something like this weird build, super rare, no recent sales. So just check if an Axie is popular in the market, and then after you find that, you just keep tabs on the price each day. Like this build that I said earlier, it has been pretty stable for the past, I would say, two weeks. Yeah, it's been hovering around 0.1, 0.9, 0.09. But about like a month ago at the peak, I think it was like 1.3, 1.4, and I bought mine at probably like 1.6 or something, and now it's like 1, so I lost quite a bit there. So yeah, you really want to see the prices of Axies, how they're doing, if it's going up, down, is it stable. That was probably the biggest mistake that I made, buying everything at the peak and prices just falling, and I had to sell them around here for some losses. But now prices have been pretty stable, I think. And I think it will be pretty stable in the coming few weeks, my opinion anyway. So yeah guys, those were the top 3 smallish mistakes I made. The big no-nos, I didn't make any of those mistakes, right? Like getting the ability cards wrong and such. And I guess I'm gonna put in an extra. Something I didn't consider, which I should have, was gas prices. When I was moving my SLP and AXS from Binance all the way to Ronin, from Binance to MetaMask to Ronin, at that time gas prices were, I think, $40 or something, and I didn't properly check, and then I probably lost like, I was like 160 in just gas prices, just moving SLP and AXS, because I had to move them twice. But I guess that's a little bit better now, because Binance is opened up and you can just send straight from Binance to Ronin for super little fees for SLP anyway. AXS, they should be opening it soon. I think the network is still suspended for that, but yeah. But for ETH, you still have to consider the gas prices. So there's that. Anyway guys, I hope this helps you guys. Some of the mistakes I made that cost me quite a bit, but now I've I've learned from my mistakes and I'm doing a bit better now. Anyway guys, if you guys like the content, please like and subscribe. See you guys soon. Bye bye.